we have been floored, and we've been expecting it, but we've been so excited about the feedback around this release. People have been so enthusiastic about the features and functionalities we're bringing to market with this release of Exchange. And it's little things like being able to use really cheap, low-cost storage and large capacity, low-cost storage versus expensive SANs to do a very reliable and scalable platform. It's probably one of the favorite ones, and I'm sure Stephen and Ken would likely agree, is little other things like mail tips, which pops up a little warning right before your users click send that they may be doing something that I like to say gives them the distinct aftertaste of shoe leather. For translation purposes, that means you put your foot in your mouth because you may have done something accidentally like send, hey, who wants to go to lunch to everybody at Microsoft? Or my absolute favorite, and this is one that happens all the time at Microsoft and has happened a lot less now, is the reply all storm, where somebody sends that, hey, Stephen sends a mail saying, who wants to go to lunch to 6,000 people on a distribution group? And then you get the flurry of, please don't send me this email. How did I get on this email? My favorite, take me off this thread. I don't even know how to do that, and I work in the email business. And then my favorite on top of that is the people who reply back to those and say, please stop replying all, and they do so by replying all. Yeah. So we give you not one but two ways to help mitigate that from happening in your environments, among a ton of other things underneath our areas of anywhere access, which I believe is the mirror image of Access Everywhere that Windows has done. We're the same company, but we sometimes think in dyslexic fashion. And then the last area, and this is the area where I spend a lot of my time. I'm originally a security and networking guy, but now primarily working on key investments we've done in this release to help you put better safeguards around the way email and other exchange data is treated. Both protecting information, those very same people who love to send those do not reply all messages by replying all, can also very easily send out a message that includes very important or classified or intellectual property to those who are outside the organization. And what kind of safeguards can we provide you in the product to help you prevent that from happening? And lastly, software plus services, is that a familiar theme? We've been talking about it for a while. Exchange Server 2010 is the first major server product release that was built from day one with software plus services in mind. And this has fundamentally changed the way we designed, developed, and even tested this release. Does anyone have any idea how many customers, or how many users, that's a better metric, how many users have already had a mailbox in Exchange 2010 before we RTM'd back in October? Any guesses? I heard 1 million. Anybody else? No other guesses? 1 million and one. All right, this is like the Price is Right, right? Okay, everyone always picks one above it. All right, any other guesses? 5 million? 5 million, okay. Any other guesses? All right. You were close, but multiply it by 17. Okay, so 16 million mailboxes have been deployed on Exchange 2010. 12 million of those were deployed before we even RTM'd. Right? So I just said that. Let me try that again in a different way. Before we went into beta. And that's doing things through our Live at EDU program, where we have schools and universities around the world who are using the code for Exchange 2010 in our Exchange data center. A data center run by our own Exchange team was testing this code. And really, when we release, and we're launching next week at TechEd, this is going to be probably the most thoroughly tested release of the product, and I think you'll see that coming through right away. It's not the I have to wait for the service pack release of Exchange. And why is that important? It's not just about the service side. A lot of the work we did to deliver an Exchange service also pays you benefits for on-premises. Things like making it easier for you to administer Exchange, giving you new tools like a web-based management interface, or role-based access control. How great would it be for you? How many of you administer Exchange servers? Would it be nice for you to offload some of the burden to certain users in your environment, like doing mailbox searches? Maybe, but you haven't been sure, like, could I do it? Or how about things like giving your help desk personnel This the ability to look at recipient information but not change recipient information. Little details like that that may have required you before to give them the entire suite of administrative privileges. We re-engineered our security model in Exchange 2010 that will now allow you to delegate administrative tasks and even user tasks, all focused back to what Ken was talking about earlier, the new efficiency. And also the high availability infrastructure changes we've made, the deployment flexibility that we give you by having you choose from whatever storage choice you want, whether it's SAN, enterprise class direct attached storage, or even SATA drives. Like imagine running your data center off the same hard drives that are basically in our desktops and laptops. Anyone willing to do that? Head nods, no. You know, I can understand that maybe previous releases, but we've had a 90% reduction in IOPS. Everyone familiar with IOPS, right? So the overhead involved in running an Exchange platform has been reduced 90% from 2003 to 2010. We've also re-architected the way we do our reads and writes to the disk to smooth out the I/O patterns. We have automated resiliency against page corruption. So you know, remember when you have to patch pages and do all that craziness? We do a lot of that for you down underneath. And then of course we've introduced this new high availability and disaster recovery approach that we call database availability groups that allow you to easily deploy up to 16 replicas of each mailbox database. All these things together are aimed at giving you an environment that basically can make email continuously available for your users. A lot of stuff in here we're going to show through demos, including over in this end. This area is a little more difficult to show in demos because I unfortunately only have a 2-server environment running on my R2 machine here, not a multiple server, and it is running on SATA drive, so already low-cost storage. And another way to think about these 3 investment areas of flexible and reliable, anywhere access, and protection and compliance is lower my costs, improve productivity, and manage my risk. Does that make sense? Does that sound interesting? And it really is. I mean, we're seeing customers now who are lowering their storage costs through combinations of the new high availability infrastructure, the choice of storage, even the help desk cost savings, 50 to 80% of what they did in previous releases. The anywhere access components that we'll talk about in just a moment is really giving people back time. You don't have to sit there and suffer through the reply alls and people saying, please take me off this thread. That you can get more done. Little neat things like our voicemail translation, where you can get a speech-to-text copy of your message, and it helps you quickly triage. Or little other things like really giving you a full experience across the PC, the web browser, and the mobile phone. And that mobile phone or that web browser can be Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari. The mobile devices could be a Windows phone, which we all love and has a lot of great features. But if you're using an iPhone, very shortly Nokia phones, and many others have licensed our technologies, made it the de facto standard for doing mobile email. So we're really focused on giving you that great experience no matter what device you're on. And then lastly, managing risk is all about giving you tools to simplify the process of protecting all your information, particularly how easy it is to hit the forward button in email, or how easy it is to fat finger somebody's email address and have it autocomplete and not realize until it's too late that you sent something out. And then we talked about software plus services already. Any questions on this before we go and get a little bit more detail? Yes, sir.
I heard something about PSTs on the storage on the server. You can have sort of offload or backup on the server your PST, your old mail.
Yeah, so the question about, we're introducing features around email archiving that allow you not to back up the PSTs on the server, but get rid of the PSTs and move them back to the server.
Okay.
I'll even show